Good evening, this is Nick G4IWO and welcome to the Pennine HaM Digital Net, which is starting very soon.
This is Mike Zero, Alpha Uniform Golf, calling all members and friends of Pennine HaM for the weekly digital net, coming from my home station on the South Coast in West Lancashire, a very sulky West Lancashire this evening. So good evening, everybody. A few of the regulars have got other things on this evening, so we won't be hearing anything from Jeff in Belgium or Mike in Adriana in northern Germany there. So, but I'm sure we'll still have a good net. Right, over to you there, Alf, first of all in the States. KA5, ULE in the group, M0AUG. Good afternoon or good evening. Nothing heard from K5 ULE. Are you enjoying the net this evening, Alf? Good evening. Nothing heard from Ralph. We'll try next time round. Now, next on the list, I don't think there's anybody connected. I'm going to call anybody listening through the Huddersfield repeater, Golf Bravo 7 Hotel X-Ray, to see if anybody wants to join the Pennine HaM Thursday evening digital net. Please call in now. Nothing heard via GB7HX. Over to you there, Frank, in Kiel. Delta Golf 6, Oscar Alpha Yankee, M0AUG. Good evening.
Yeah, DStar Hello to everyone. Good evening, good afternoon. First the weather here. It's sunny spring weather, almost 15 degrees. Yesterday I think I've seen the first two butterflies in our garden. Beautiful spring weather. Actually too early because I can remember that years ago, so we still had snow in the middle of March or so. But of course I appreciate it, and the sun is producing a lot of power on the roof and charging the car, and that is nice. On the next hours I can report about the submarine activity that Bob and 4XIT could receive us, and that we probably have at least one of the members here in the log. I think I at least I saw that we got J8 KJJU into the log, but more about that on the next hour. First, back to you from DG6YY.
DG6OAY in the group M0AUG. Okay then, thank you there, Frank. And over to you, Lou. Did I say you want one of the big repeaters? I recognise the voice before I heard the call sign the other day. JKJJ in the group M0AUG. Good evening.
G0, G0 AUG in the group, GKJJ. Yeah, thanks, Jeff, and a very good evening to you. A good evening to everyone else on the net. It's a pleasure to be back again, as always. The WX in Nottingham, wall-to-wall sun today. It was a great day, 15 degrees Celsius, but very pleasant in the sun, and I managed to get a lot of gardening done. Band conditions for me have been above average. On Saturday the 28th, I was very pleased to work DL0MEL on the submarine on FT8. I assumed that Frank was operating, and that was a pleasure. On Sunday, I worked a lot of European stations, plus a couple of stateside stations. On Monday the 2nd, I think I worked Brazil, St. Bartholomew Island, and India, and a lot of small local stations. I have worked a bit of DStar, just checking out the rig, because I had that problem last week, and it does seem to be working okay, but you'll tell me if it's not, Jeff. I think it was Monday that I heard or I saw 3Y0K on Bouvet Island being called by a very large number of stations. It was an enormous pilot on 17 meters on FT8. But I didn't bother calling because there were so many stations calling. Anyway, back to you. More from me on the next over. M0 AUG in the group, G8KJJ.
G8KJJ in the group, M0 AUG returning. Yes, fine and well, and I think it was on DStar that I actually heard your call sign coming across the speaker there on the screen. So yeah, I'm not sure whether you're on Reflector 1 or Reflector 30 Charlie. And anyway, good to hear you on. Hello to you there, Nick. G4IW in the group, M0AUG.
M0 AUG in the group from G4IWO. Yeah, good evening, everybody, and good evening to Frank. I'm glad that you had a good activation on the U995 last weekend, and I believe from what you wrote, you're going to have another go as well. I hope everyone that has either seen or caught up on the video from last night's meeting, which I thought was very good. I thought Ken gave a very, very interesting contribution about his activities and incredible amount of DX that he works with what could be described as only the simplest of radio setups. To work the DX he does with just 60 watts into a 15-foot 6-inch long telescopic whip is pretty extraordinary. And of course, you know, that's down to location next to the salt lagoons, and of course also closer to the equator. And yeah, I'm very much hoping I can get a QSO in with Bouvet Island on CW at some stage. I'd try to leave it for a few days and hope that it will calm down a little bit. I did get in Guinea-Bissau, the J51A D expedition, and they've had an extraordinary amount of contacts already. They've had 142,000 QSOs as of yesterday and worked 26,000 different call signs, and they've still got another 11 days of operation. So that's some amazing D-expedition there, and I was very pleased to get them on 10 meters on CW, which was good. So back to you, Jeff. M0 AUG in the group from G4IWO.
G4IWO group, M0 AUG returning. Yes, fine and well, Nick, and I'll be successful in getting the contact with Bouvet. As you know, I wasn't able to make Ken was a meeting last night, but as I confirmed to you earlier on today, I'm pleased to be able to view it on the YouTube channel, so thanks very much for that. Over to Bob in the US now, November 4 X-ray Alpha Tango in the group, M0 AUG. Good afternoon and good evening there, Bob.
Zero AUG with the group, November 4 X-ray Alpha Tango. Good afternoon, good evening to all on the net. Weather here today, rain on and off. We're now at our high temperature of 9 Celsius. And 9 Celsius is summertime here all of a sudden. So after all of those minus readings, it's nice to get a plus reading for a couple of days. So it's nice. As a matter of fact, a lot of the snow has disappeared, and it's getting closer to springtime. I want to congratulate Lou on his U995 contact on Saturday. Frank sent the complete list to me, so I was aware of it on Saturday that you had contacted Frank. Or Finn, I don't know who was operating at the time. Either Frank or his son Finn were operating at the time. But I'm glad that you made it, Lou. And Frank sent me the complete list, and I forwarded on to Nick, just in case there are other members who I don't recognize and aren't on the DStar group. So if there were any other members, I'm sure Nick would have mentioned it. I do want to mention that we're on a different time schedule than the UK, and we're switching our time to daylight savings time this weekend. So for the next few weeks, or a couple of weeks at least, I think you change it at the end of the month. I have to remember that these skids will be an hour later for us, which I don't mind really. I didn't get to watch the program last night, but I did get on the YouTube this morning and I watched it, and I found it very interesting. Ken is a book of knowledge, or several books of knowledge, and was a great presentation. He also mentioned during that, and excuse me on the call sign, but that J special event, that he said he had gone up 8 KCs. Of course, they do work up, and he said that everybody was looking at around 5, and he went up and he got to work that group, which I found interesting. I've never gone up 8. I've gone up 5 or 6, but I don't think I've ever tried 8. But doing most of these contests, they are going pretty high. I did notice, I did see the FD8 group on 17 meters the other day also, Lou, and all I could see were people calling 3YOX, and with my 10 watts output, I said, no, it's not even worth trying. But I have seen him on Parks on the Air, as a matter of fact, a lot on 20, and I've seen him on 15. So there are chances, both for the CW operators, the digital operators, and for the voice operators, that once it calms down, as Nick said. Let's see, what else do I have here? I think I covered about. On Ken's talk, he talked about his ground tuning unit. Well, I looked up today, and that MFJ 931, which originally sold for $150, there are people out there now selling them used for that price plus postage. I saw them lower, but it's just unbelievable because, of course, they're not, MFJ isn't making that stuff anymore. So, but it's unbelievable what those units are still going for in a used condition. They're going as much as they were when they were brand new. I found that interesting. Back to you, Jeff, and I'll probably have more in the next go around.
Before XL for Tango M082 today. It was fine on that bomb, and also news on that one as well. And as I mentioned earlier, I've only seen Ken's talk, which I'm looking forward to catching up with it over the weekend. So yeah, good. Fine on the weather. The weather here, it was a nice morning, over here, quite mild over on the West Lancashire coast. And then early afternoon it turned over to our traditional rain, and was like that all afternoon. Over to Keith now, please. GM4JQ is in the group, M0AEG.
M0AEG in the group, GM4JKZ, yes. Good evening, and afternoon to Bob over there. Yeah, Ken's talk last night was extremely good, I thought. I'm sorry I had to disappear quite rapidly. I got called away. Hence, I disappeared without saying good night. But his talk reminded me that I sold a KW Easy match a few years ago. And listening to Ken talking about his LC circuitry, etc., reminded me I've got a very large roller coaster and some large air capacitors in one of these boxes up here. Could be another project to go on the bottom of the list. You never know. Temperature was pretty good today. Solar panels were generating very well, 25 kilowatts, and 8 degrees at the moment tonight. So cooling down, but not too bad. I think there was a sprinkling of rain earlier on, But been busy the last few days sorting the car out. It's going in for a service tomorrow. I think I may have a steering rack issue, which doesn't help because I'm supposed to be going down to Somerset this weekend for 2 weeks again. Some of you will know what that's for. More wallpapering and furniture building and pergola planning. I think that's the phrase, but I'll find out when I get down there. Simple as that. But the good thing is I'm moving a lot more of us down there as well in the back of the car. And yes, I did hear 3Y0K. I think it was day before yesterday or yesterday. No, it must have been yesterday. And yes, I totally agree. Looking at the traces on FT8, I must have copied on my trace at least 25, 30 stations calling. And I made a bit of a boo-boo initially because I hadn't switched the software onto hound mode. So I was calling on the wrong half, if you're with me. But a kind Italian reminded me that I needed to do that. But I also gave up. It was just a massive noise, I must admit. So, without further ado, back to you, Jeff. M0AUG with the group GM4JKZ.
GM4JKZ with the group M0AUG returning, and thank you, Keith, for the update on that. And also, good evening, Jim, G4GVA, who's listening to us on the YouTube channel, and says hello to everybody. So, very welcome, Jim, and good to hear from you. Right, over to Martin now. G4 Whiskey Juliet X-Ray in the group. Mike 0 Alpha Uniform Golf. Good evening.
Yes, from G4WJX. Nice to meet up with everybody again. First time I contacted.
G4WJXM0AUG. I'm afraid you dropped out there, Martin. Do you want to try again? G4WJXM0AUG. I'll try and catch up with Martin later on. Good evening, there to Mark. Mike Whiskey 0, Delta India Mike, M0AUG. Good evening. MW0, TIM in the group, M0AUG. Nothing heard from Mark either, so we'll come to the top of the list there, and over to you then, Ralph. K5 ULE in the group, M0AUG.
For our listeners on YouTube, there clearly are some connectivity issues on the Reflector this evening, so I'm not sure whether people are being heard, but unfortunately I'm not getting anyone from the QTH here. audio from G4WJX. I got the beginning and then he dropped out, and no response at all, Jeff, from MW0DIM. Back to you.
Oh, M0 AUG. Thanks for the confirmation there, Nick. That's exactly what I received with some. So we'll go back over to Keel now and back to Frank. DG6OAY in the group, M0 AUG.
DG6OAY right back. Now some more information about the activity. Yes, I was doing the activity with my son. He still doesn't have a call sign, although he's operating since a trainee since years, but it takes some effort to learn the question and answers for the calls for the exam, and so he prefers to operate as a trainee, and actually he was probably doing most of the contacts because one of us can operate and the other one has to interact with the visitors and guests. They're interested in our stuff. They want to know what we are doing, and we also would like to explain them how interesting that hobby is. And we let the kids play on the mouse decoder, they try to write the name, and many of the kids can manage that after just a few minutes. And I also had two small enigmas built. These are electronic enigmas with a TFT display, but they have the original algorithm of the original German Navy Enigma M3. And that's also really you just understand it better if you have something in your hand that you can interact with. Yeah, so we worked from the lower bands up to the higher bands, from 40 up to 17 meters, and at one point I also had my hotspot running. At one point Bob called us and confirmed that he had heard us and he coded us on 20 meters or 17 meters, I think. But unfortunately we couldn't read him on the display, and I forwarded the list, our log file to Bob, and he forwarded it to Nick, I think. I'm trying to avoid all the Facebook Zuckerberg stuff. I don't want to be part of that, so my connectivity is a little bit different. And we had so much fun with the operation and with the test. We are doing it again this Saturday because the weather is still very nice, and so I already emailed Bob that I would like to try it this time in JT65, which gives us 2 dB extra. And maybe this time we can read his call sign and make a contact. I would like to try that again. I also have a CW sketch with G0ELZ from the UK. So there are already things we have on our to-do list. And here's my timer. Back to AUG from DG6OAY.
DG6OAY in the group, M0 AUG returning. You just got back in time there, Frank. Yeah, and fine on letting us know that the station's going to be on again this weekend. I hope you get the contact with Bob that you're looking for anyway. So, over to you now, Lou. G8KJJ in the group, M0 AUG.
M0 AUG in the group, G8KJJ. Yes, thanks, Jeff. And it was a pleasure to work, Frank. And I did take the opportunity to look at the website of the submarine, the U995, and that was very interesting as well. I was very impressed with the the sort of the museum side of it and the equipment, and I believe Frank will probably confirm this, that the radio equipment probably not used on Saturday, but the radio equipment is the original radio equipment of the same generation. So that's interesting. It was very interesting. I was quite impressed. Satellite activity has been put onto the back burner recently. There have been two reasons, really. The first is that the satellites I'm familiar with, ISS, SO50 and AO73, have unsuitable orbits for me. And secondly, I don't operate in the middle of the night. 10:30 is my limit. I have tested the kit, antennas, SDR, transceiver and rotator, and it all seems good to go. And when we get the opportunity, I'll try working a few more stations and maybe try other satellites. Since it's the 2-meter contest this weekend, I thought I might try the Moxon to see how that compares with the HB9CV that I often use on 2 meters, and see if there's a difference. I do have a picture, Jeff, which I can share later. Anyway, back to you. M0AUG in the group, G8KJJ.
G8KJJ in the group, M0AUG telling. Yes, fine on that, though, and also thanks for reminding me about the 2-meter contest this weekend. And good evening to anybody else who's joined Jim on the YouTube channel. And sorry about the breakup that we had with the 2 people who didn't come back to the call. I just wondered in actual fact whether the one from Martin, we've had issues sometimes in the past with Doozy. It may just have been that caused a temporary block there, which saw Mark getting in as well. We'll find out when we get down to that one anyway. So over to you there, Nick, because you thought I don't know in the group. M0AUG.
M0AUG in the group from G4IWO. Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff. And yeah, I did wonder how you were doing with satellites, Lou. But I've had a look myself to see what the passes are like for us here. And as you say, I'm much the same. Definitely not going to get up in the very early hours of the morning to try and catch one of the satellite passes. So we have to wait for better orbits there. We've got several people watching on YouTube live, but apart from Jim, no one else has checked in, Jeff, so we're going with that. Just going back to Bouvet Island, what I found extraordinary, if you look at their website, is that the cost of this de-expedition is $1.7 million. I mean, it's just extraordinary. And I have to say, I compare that to Emil DL8JJ and his involvement in both Sierra Leone and the one he did to Pennine Island off the coast of Spain. And I would be amazed if he spent more than €100, certainly on the Spanish one, and probably a little bit more for going out to Sierra Leone. But there's absolutely no way that anyone else is going to reach that level of budget. Although I read, of course, that they, apart from taking a ship out there, the ship has a helicopter on board, and they've used a helicopter to take the all the equipment onto the island. So quite extraordinary. But still, nevertheless, it's going to be fun to try and work them. As a CW operator, I look at the reverse beacon network, although I wasn't around to get on myself. But they're currently on 30 meters CW. They've been on 15, and they've been on 17 as well this afternoon. So I've seen no operation from them on 10 meters. Maybe 10 hasn't been open down there for them. 15 meters has been the most popular one. Going back to last night's meeting, I was very pleased. We had a number of new people come into the meeting live. One of them is a Ukrainian radio amateur, Igor, who joined the club meeting last night. I know he's living now on the south coast, and Phil G4UDU, who I was in contact with this morning, was telling me that Igor has joined a couple of the local clubs, both Mid Sussex and Worthing, and he is unable at the moment to produce the correct documentation to enable him to use his Ukrainian license in the United Kingdom. So I know a number of people are going to be working with Igor to help him get the foundation license, so at least he can get on HF with 25 watts. So that will be very good, and I hope we see Igor again at more of our meetings over the coming weeks and months. Radio conditions for me have been a bit lacking the last few days. I went down to South London, to Croydon, to my son and daughter-in-law to catch up with the progress of the two twins, my latest two grandchildren, and we spent a lovely 4 days down there. The weather was slightly better down there than it was up here. When I drove back on Monday afternoon, as we hit the M62, the clouds went black and we had some lovely rain. We've currently got 10 degrees, so as was said earlier, it's a slightly improved situation weather-wise, but we've got some rain. I went out to put the bins out for our dustmen in the morning, and it was pouring with rain just an hour ago. So weather is improving, but we've got some way to go, I think, certainly up here in the north of England, until we can describe it as spring. So back to you, Jeff. M0 AUG in the group, G4IWO.
G4IWO in the group, M0AU telling. Yes, fine, I can, I agree with you on the weather up in this part of the country. Very, very nice this morning, and I went to meet up with a couple of people from the Falls and Twigglers Club for a coffee this afternoon. And when we came out of the cafe there, the rain started, and it was our way all the way back home. So shame about that. We'd like to get some spring in, but not sure about the forecast for tomorrow though. Over to you there, Bob. M4XLX305D in the group, M0AUG. Pennine HaM with the group, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango. First of all, I wasn't aware that Igor was a member of the Mid-Sussex Club now. I'm a life member of Mid-Sussex, so that's interesting. I'll have to get with Ken and Phil. But I did find some of his problems very interesting last evening during the presentation. For those of you who aren't aware, on Saturday I contacted Frank through this repeater. I logged on my Doozy, and Frank was watching this just in case we could have a different setup. So it may be a way that if you see Frank this weekend, it would be a way for you to contact him if he's watching it. Of course, he's inside the submarine, but he seems to have perfect contact through that metal hull. So it's a possibility at any rate. And for those of you that are interested, and you may not be aware of this site, and it's marinafrunda.com English 995 HTML. And I'll spell that out because on that, I'm a part of the friendship crew for U995, and I used to go there and also to the USS New Jersey. So some of you may be interested in this site, and I'll try to spell it, and I'll try to go slow like Ken did last night for you fellas that don't speak American English. And here we go. MARINE
N4XAT.
people on a point or two of striking for 600s now. I'm hoping maybe next week or the week after I get into the
600 area. So far, as of right now, I have 3,327 entities. Of course, the next big award is 3,500. So I have a ways to go, and it gets more difficult the more entities one gets. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed. And of course, now, because of Jeff Owen8NT's help, I now have my stats on my QRZ page. So if you go to my QRZ page, you can more or less keep up at least some of my stats. And most of my activity is CW 40 and 20 meters. I do have a photo this evening, so with that I'll put it back to Jeff in England. M0 AUG with the group, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango.
Before Excel for Tango in the group, M0AG turning. Thank you for that, Bob. And I think I must have jotted down something incorrectly on that U995 URL you sent to me. But anyway, yeah, I'll solve the difference out and we'll have a look at that. Thanks for all the information. Well done with your parts as usual. And you don't offer any challenges for people to even get a mark on what you were doing with those. And I acknowledge that you've got a photograph when they come to the end. Up to what is now empty. GM4JKZ in the group. M0AG.
M0AUG in the group, GM4JKZ returning. Okay there, Jeff, and evening to Jim as he's listening. Let me think, what am I doing? I sorted all the tools out today and put them in boxes, ready to go down to Somerset, I hasten to add. And the first job I had to do here in the house, I had to unbox one of the boxes to find the tool I needed. So I think my lesson is don't put the tools in the box ready to go until you're ready to go. Oh, it drives you nuts, doesn't it? And yeah, off to Becca's probably for a couple of weeks. And after that, I'm going on across to Sussex to Jim's for a couple of days or so. So that'll be fun. I've got one little job I'm going to try and get sorted out before I leave. I've just received it today, a dual, a twin USB port with a 12-volt cigar lighter on a panel, and I'm planning on installing that in the back of the Volvo where the existing cigar lighter is, so that I can permanently power the hotspot, which will be mounted in the back as well. With a switch, obviously, to turn it on and off. So then I won't have to bury it in the centre console all the time with cables going everywhere. So that hopefully I'm going to get that done before I go. And I'm planning on sorting that out whilst the car's down in the local garage tomorrow. I tend to spend my time in there with him while he's working. So hopefully that will work out a treat. Radio-wise, the last few days, or yesterday, I managed to work a couple of stations in China and South Africa, and I was amazed that there were about 5 or 6 African stations on FT8 yesterday afternoon. On, I think it was on 17 metres. So that was quite interesting. And Bouvet Island, I did see on Facebook they got some great photos on there as well with the helicopter and the ships that they've sailed down there on. So that's quite an interesting one. And I haven't got a photo tonight. The phone's down in the bedroom on charge at the moment. It sort of died on me about, I don't know, about half an hour ago, 45 minutes ago or so. But I'll make this my last if I can, Jeff, if you don't mind. Make this my final. I'll leave you with the thought that at long last, Formula One starts up, hopefully this weekend, as long as all the kit and the staff can get across to Australia. So there we go. Righto, M0AUG with the group, GM4JKZ.
GM4 JK's in the group, M0H returning. No problem about that, and, didn't know mind about the photograph, etc. And we'll catch up with you eventually. I don't know whether you'll be able to contact us whilst you're down there. Depends what else you've got going on. I'm spending time with Jim as well. But if you can, that's fine, you know where we are. If not, enjoy your break down there, and we'll catch up with you when you come back. So, best wishes to you and everything. Thanks for your contribution as usual. Right, we'll try Martin again now. G4WJX in the group, M0AUG.
Yeah, from G4WJX, I'm hoping you're getting this. Just let me check. Are you receiving me, over?
Yes, okay there, Martin. We did start off okay with you very, very briefly on the last silver, and then suddenly it went back to you.
Right, Joe. Well, I've got one ear with a headphone socket in listening on YouTube, so hopefully I'll hear if I drop out again. Although this is driving me nuts with the audio delay coming off YouTube, but I have no idea why I drop out. I'm using a microphone and it's terminal mode here. So why I drop out, I thought last week after the drop out, I thought it must be a loose wire in the mic. But I'm watching the audio scope, and the audio scope stayed working on the 9700, and it just gave me no indication that something had gone wrong. And so I've swapped back to the original microphone. I used the mic from the 7600 on the first over, but I don't know how much of it you got. I can hear myself still going, so I shall carry on. Yes, I worked the J51A station just before the YouTube meeting yesterday, which I found very, very interesting. But I'm not going to stay on for a huge length of time in case I disappear, although it sounds like I'm still going on. How very, very strange. I have got a picture that to put at the end. I took some high-resolution hydrogen alpha shots of the sun yesterday, so I'll perhaps send a shot of one of the sunspot groups that hopefully will be sending some stuff to enliven the ionosphere over the next day or two. Anyway, I won't hold it much longer. Back to you, Jeff, from G4WJX.
G4WJX, the group M0AG turning. No problem at all there, Martin, on the last over. We do get these little blips every now and again, and it's not the first time I've had one where Doozy's been the cause of it, but on this last over, absolutely no problem at all. And thanks for the fact you've got a picture coming at the end. Right, where are we up to on the list now? We'll give Mark a call, because after you locked out last time, Martin, we didn't get Mark either. MW0DIM in the group, M0AUG. MW0DIM in the group, M0AUG. No, nothing heard from Mark this time round. He's still connected, so we'll try again on the next time round. So, look at the top and anything from Rolf last time. KA5ULE in the group, M0AUG. Well, once again, Rolf is still connected, but obviously not coming back into the group. So, I think what we'll do, we'll start to go down the list now, because obviously, without some of the regulars like Mike and Alciana and Jeff as well, we've not got a lot of content going round and round and round. And there are 3 or 4 people who are interested in sending a picture at the end as well, which takes a little bit of time. So what we'll do first of all now, I'll go back over to Keel and obviously to Frank. If you want to do your final, please, Frank, and we'll see where you go from there. DG608Y in the group, M0 AEG.
Yeah, DG608Y. There are so many topics. I will try to squeeze them all on one over. Yeah. So if you like to get a submarine into your log, try to listen to us somewhere between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. UTC. We will start on the lower band, 40 meters, and work our way up to 20 or 17. Just look on PSK Reporter, and there you will see our latest reception reports and see the band. And then we will probably be back again in FT8 because we can operate in FT8 very well, even when they're visitors and we are talking to them, and so that fits well into our activity. Bob had a great idea to announce the activity the last time. I should have had the idea, but no, Bob had it. And I think he also suggested to use DStar, and so I set up my hotspot. So I will try to be online on this Reflector if you want to contact me for a special SCAD test, other mode or so. And to you, the radios are very interesting. When the submarine returned to Germany, all the radios were missing. But there was one radio operator from Hamburg, and he collected the radios all over Germany and Europe and put them back into the submarine. And that is a very extraordinary and unique collection now. And that's so impressive what he did. And now all that stuff is preserved there at the museum. And regarding the satellites, when I was interested in satellite activity maybe 25, 30 years ago, I actually was standing up in the middle of the night. I don't know if I could do that again, but I was doing that 30 years ago. Stood up at 3 a.m. and at that time it's very quiet over Europe, and you can work the satellites with standard power and just an online directional antenna. While you cannot do that during the daytime when it's calling, and I make my contacts with no special equipment. But it's hard to get out at that time. But after the orbit, after 10 minutes or so, you can return to bed. Hi. Okay, I don't know if I forgot something now. There's always so much going on, and there's so many ideas. And here's my time. My time has 73 to everyone. Until the next time from DG608.
DG608Y in the group M0 returning. You just made it back in there again there, Frank, and thanks for your contribution this evening and all the other information. And obviously if you're being connected to the Starlink anywhere, then if anybody wants to contact you this weekend, then they can do. But not at 3:30 in the morning. It's far too late. Okay, thanks for joining us this evening, Frank. I look forward to catching up with you next time. Okay, so we've got pictures to come from Lou. I'm assuming from Nick as well, from Bob, and Martin. Before we just go down that road, keep signing out. I'll just see if Mark's back with us. Mine was Whiskey 0, Delta India Mike, Mike 0, Alpha Uniform Golf.
Mike 0, Alpha Uniform Golf is MW0DIM. And the group too. I did nip out for a little bit, and I left all my gear on, running in the background, so it might have appeared that I was ignoring everyone, which I'm not. Radio-wise, I've just been on DStar whenever I can. I haven't done anything on HF, just had it on the listen the other day, but mainly on DStar this week, and DMR, and messed around a bit with Fusion on the Freestar network. So that's all I've been up to anyway, so not much. Back to you, M0AUG and the group, MW0DIM.
M0DIM, M0AUG returning. Okay, I'm Mark, and yes, you were still connected, so we were wondering what was wrong there, but thanks for the explanation there. On the show that's coming up, a few of the members want to send the usual photographs. Do you have a photograph to send at this stage, or is that something else to develop? Back to you, Mark.
M0AUG, MW0DIM with the group. No, I haven't got any pictures at the moment. I've just been messing around with AI video clips and that. So I got no pictures of anything of note anyway, but I'll get some loaded on from my external hard drive and at another time. Back to you, M0AUG, MW0DIM.
M0DIM in the group, M0AUG returning. Yes, well, Mark, no problem at all. And thanks for joining us this evening. I'm glad you came back in the end, because I was wondering why the connection had dropped. I mean, I had a good connection last week, but not to worry there. Right, so we're back in now with, obviously, Martin is going to send the picture to us, Lou, Bob, and Nick. So, what I'll do before we go to the picture round, as usual, I'll just pass the call over to Nick to give a round up of the meeting, and then we'll obviously just go into the picture round. And, those who don't want to watch the pictures can then vanish off of that. But thank you for supporting us this evening. And we'll take the rest of the Nick, after Nick on pictures. G4IWI in the group, M0AG.
M0AG in the group from G4IWO. Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff, and thank you everyone for your contributions this evening. And on YouTube, by the way, Andy 2E0REE down there in Portsmouth has checked in and just said hello to everyone on the net. Andy is a Royal Naval Amateur Radio Society member, like some of our other members here. So nice to see you listening to us on YouTube, Andy. And yeah, Jeff, I have a photograph to send as well, inspired by the contribution of Ken last night from the Salt Lagoons. Is a nice picture of myself. Well, not myself, you won't see me personally, but you'll see an antenna and radios with fellow members of the Thames Amateur Radio Group when I was living down in Essex some 8 years ago now, and operating by the Thames Estuary, working the DX that Ken was talking about last night. Not quite as good as Spain, but certainly very good. And we've got another club meeting next week. We've got Martin M1 MRB, who's going to give a talk to the club about building the QMX Plus transceiver, the wonderful little radio built by QRP Labs, designed by Hans Summers, which really is a superb piece of kit. I know a number of club members have got them, and Martin's going to give a talk about his experience of the build of that. So that hopefully will be a very interesting meeting. So thank you very much, everybody, and of course thank you to Jeff for chairing tonight's net. So back to you, Jeff. M0AG in the group, G4IWO.
G4IWO group, M0AUG returning, and good evening to Andy on the YouTube channel, and hope you've enjoyed the evening, and will join us another time. So we'll go to Martin first of all to send your picture, please, Martin. G4WJX in the group, M0AUG.
Yeah, from Martin G4WJX. This picture may look a bit nondescript. I'm not sure how well it's going to come out, but it's detail from the surface of the sun showing two sunspots. It's in black and white, but if it doesn't come out, well, I'll perhaps do something else another day. But anyway, here it comes.
G4WJX0AG. Absolutely 100% there for me, there, Martin. We'll just pass around for comments. Over to you there, Lou, G8KJJ.
Yeah, G8KJJ. Yeah, it's 100%, Martin. It's a good picture. And did you do that with projection onto a screen, or was the camera attached to the telescope? Anyway, it's a good picture. Go ahead.
Yeah, from G4WJX. It's a specially modified hydrogen alpha solar telescope, and the camera was attached where the eyepiece would go. But it's looking at the wavelengths of hydrogen alpha on the sun. You can't see this with a normal telescope. It's a special one that allows you to see structure on the surface of the sun. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a Roger. That's a Roger. Anyway, back to you, Jeff. M0AUG in the group.
Thanks for that, gentlemen. Over to you, Bob. M4X13 in the group, M0AUG. 100%, Martin. I've never seen one like that before, but I got it 100%, and it's perfectly discernible. Direct control. Thanks for that, Bob. And over to you next view. We'll come on G4IWO, please. Do you want to send this again, please, to see if we can improve the quality next time, please, Martin? G4WJX0AUG.
Yes, I can do. The full shot, for those who may or may not be interested, the full shot is actually 3 times the width of this, but that's on my Flickr account. You can download a very high resolution that goes sort of from half the sun right to the edge. But I'll send this again because it's just a short bit of the whole picture. Hang on. Just invite a comment from Nick, G4IWO, please.
Yeah, G4IWO returning 100% that time. Yeah, very, very good indeed. Back to you, Jeff.
Thanks, Nick, and thank you, Martin. That was very good indeed. And I don't know if you're still monitoring, Mark. Are you picking up these pictures at all? MW0DIM, M0AUG.
M0AUG in the group, MW0DIM. I'm not even getting 1% of the photo. I've always had this problem since I bought this radio. I just can't pick up anyone's photos. So I'm going to have to go on some sort of forum to send and receive photos. Everything else about the radio is brilliant, but I've never been able to receive a full photo. When I started chatting on this group last year, I think my record was about 40% of the data of the photo. Back to you, M0 AUG in the group, MW0 DIM.
W0 DIM in the group M0AG10. Yes, fine now, Mark. And what you might be able to do, although we can't do that this evening, Jeff Oscar Brave November Tango is very good on these sort of things. So maybe if you touch base with him either at the the net next week or offline as well, I'm sure Jeff will try and help you on this. Thanks for your comments anyway. Over to you there, Bob. November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango in the group, M0AG. Do you want to take your picture now, please? Yes. First of all, that site that I gave you, in Deutsch, it would be Marina Frunda. And I'll spell that one more time just in case that was the problem. MARINE FRUNDA.com/ENG/UU995. My photo tonight is of the German frigate, and I'm glad that they're on well, maybe Frank's listening and he'll correct it. The Sauschen Anhalt. The Sauschen Anhalt F-224 is the ship of the Baden-Württemberg class of frigates. And what makes this ship interesting is the Baden-Württemberg class has the highest displacement of any class of frigate worldwide. They replaced the German class, or the Bremen class. So I'll stand by and I'll send that picture. With me there, Bob. Thank you very much. And over to Lou for your comments, please.
Yeah, it's a great picture, 100%.
And over to you, Nick.
Yeah, G4IW returning. I'm afraid only 94% here. I mean, I've got most of the ship there, but a few missing bits. And if Bob doesn't mind sending again, because I'll post that on the WhatsApp channel as well. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Nick. Could you send us again from the next point here, please, Bob? Down, I just thought of it. That Royal Navy Amateur Radio Society fellow that's watching on YouTube, I'm Royal Navy Amateur Radio Society. I'm number 4783. 4783. Stand by, I'll send it again.
N4XAT.
for that one, Nick, this time, please. Thanks, Nick. Thank you, Bob. That's a nice picture, and also the correction you gave me to the Marine website has now brought up the information there, so thank you also for that one. And over to you for your comments, Lou.
Yeah, no, it's a great picture, Bob. Very good indeed.
Any comments from you, Martin?
It's all perfectly fine here. I've also logged on to the U995 French crew site as well, so I shall perhaps have a go first to find that one over the weekend as well. But the picture's great of F224.
Thank you for that. So I think the only other picture to send this time now is yours, Nick. G4IWA in the group, M0AUG. Thanks, Nick, 100% with me. That looks like a field day event somewhere, and a television mast in the background there. G4IWO, M0AUG.
G4IWO, yeah, it was a completely impromptu gathering of members of the Thames Amateur Radio Group who are based on Canvey Island on the Essex Thames estuary, and there was about 8 or 9 different amateurs down there, all with different antennas and radios. I had a 12-meter pole supporting a Delta Loop antenna, and was having great success that morning. We all got down there early and were working fabulous DX when the sea was in. Over.
Thanks for that, Nick. Did you get the picture okay, Martin? Back to you.
Yeah, 100% there. With the it looks almost like a body pole, that antenna in the foreground, doesn't it?
Over to you, Lou.
Yeah, I've got the picture. It's a good picture. But I do have a picture, Jeff.
Not forgotten you there, Lou, don't worry. I was just working my way around the list the wrong way around. Over to you there, Bob, then, for X-ray Alpha Tango.
In the 4X8T, 99% and the box that are missing aren't critical. I'm missing the second, third, and the sixth box on the very top row above your call sign. But the picture has great clarity. That's beautiful. I can't believe how clear that picture is. Back to you.
Thanks, Bob. Do you want to just send this again for Bob's benefit, please, Nick?
You don't have it.
I think somebody said you don't have to, so fine. Over to you then, Lou, G8KJJ, M0AG.
M0 AUG and the group G8KJJ. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Well, my picture's really for Bob, because I know he likes tall ships, and this is not so much a tall ship, rather it's a short boat. The quality is not great. I took it from some Super 8 cine film that I shot at the time. The boat crossed the Atlantic, sailed solo by an Irishman who built the boat. It was less than 20 feet. I think that's about 6 meters in length. And it lost its keel in a storm, hence the list on the boat. He landed on San Salvador, where I was working in 1970. Before I send the picture, thanks to you, Jeff, for hosting the net, and 73s to everyone listening and on the net. So the picture's on its way.
Just 99% of them being there, Lou. You could just send it again, please. Thanks for that, Lou, 100%. The blocks, 2 or 3 blocks in reasonably strategic positions around the boat, so thank you for that. We've got on that one. Over to you, Martin. Did you get that one as well, please? Back to you.
Got almost all of it, just got a couple of blocks missing in the sky, but that's okay, no need to resend that again. All the important bits around the boat and the lovely level horizon you got there from G4WJX.
Fine, thanks for that. Thanks for joining us again this evening, Martin, and we look forward to catching up with you next week. That's G4WJX M0AEG. Over to you, Bob, for your final comments, please. And for XNT M0AEG.
This is M4X80. I agree with Martin. I have a few blocks missing, but nothing critical. One just above the horizon and one close to the ship, but it doesn't. I could take that and edit it and get the important part of that with no problem at all. So no need to resend. Back to M0AUG.
Thanks for that, Bob, and thank you, as usual, for your contribution this evening. Have a good week, and we look forward to catching up with you next Thursday evening on the net. N4X30 and the group M0AEG, 7-3 there, Bob. Over to you now for your final there, Lou. So good evening, I think, and thank you for your contribution. JKJJ M0AEG.
Yeah, M0AUG in the group GAKJJ. Yes, thanks, Jeff, and thanks to everyone for being on the net. It's been very enjoyable, as always, and I'm looking forward to next week's net. 73s, and all the best for the week. GAKJJ up and clear.
JKJJ M0AUG. And whilst we were just talking, I was scrolling down the URL Bob sent over, and there's Bob actually sitting with another gentleman, Hans-Jürgen, by the side of my picture there, so thank you for that, Bob. Thanks for sharing it with everybody. Look forward to catching up with you next week, Lou. Over to you there, Nick, and it's been a good net tonight. G4IWO, M0AG, and thanks for everybody on the YouTube channel for joining us.
M0AG in the group from G4IWO. Yeah, thank you, Jeff, and thank you to everyone for the pictures to round off a great evening as well. And can I just say, I've been monitoring the YouTube channel since I've started using this virtual studio on the PC to take audio directly from the radio into the computer, and also alongside it to stream not just a picture of the radio as the audio is coming out, but also the XLX305 dashboard is on the screen at the same time. It's considerably better, and when I've monitored it directly on YouTube while the net's been going on, the audio has been very good indeed. I've got a nice mixer in front of me, and if the levels get too low or too high, I can bring them up very quickly. So I'm very pleased with that, and definitely makes the recordings that we're putting up on the YouTube channel, because they're there from tonight, of course, makes them considerably better. And we're still getting, by the way, for everyone's benefit, 60 or 70 views of the digital net on the YouTube channel from people interested in what we're talking about and what we're doing. Back to you, Jeff, and good evening, everybody. M0AG in the group, G4IWO.
G4IWO, M0AG telling. Yeah, okay there, Nick, and we've had a good night tonight, in spite of the fact that three of our lead actors are really doing other things, enjoying culture, etc. And it's been a lovely event this evening. To everybody who's contributed to all this, and thank you very much for your contributions. And we look forward to catching up with you next Thursday evening. This is M0AG signing off for tonight for Pennine HaM, and thank you everybody for joining us. Sound free, everybody. Stay safe.